let's just officially start. Hello, my name is Megan Fairless. I have Shawn here with me today. How did we meet? I was a young child. It was because of my dad. Was it in Ethan's paint shop, or when was it?
No, to be honest with you, you're not going to remember this.
Yeah.
I met you before you met me because I met you when you were
Oh, wow.
born. Your father actually changed my diapers when he worked at Hit and Run with my mother.
There you go.
Yeah.
And that was before they owned Hit and Run, right? Or,
Yeah. So that's one thing we can. Are we doing this now?
Yeah. I mean, we're podcasting.
Are we recording?
We're recording.
Oh, right on. Right on. So, my mom actually, it's kind of interesting. Like, my mom started at Hit and Run at like 15 or 16 years old, cleaning the laundromat.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine this, like it's something that like I think's pretty amazing. But she worked every workable position in that company until ultimately somehow owning it.
That's amazing.
That's
That's well deserved, though. I feel like.
My mom didn't get her GED until she was an adult. That kind of thing. I was close to my parents, but like things happen. But I love them to death, and we're the closest we've ever been as adults.
Good.
And a lot of things that I didn't understand as a young man about life. I had a mentor sit me down and kind of set me straight one time about the fact that like when my mom and dad had me, they were like 16 and 17 years old, and I had a friend say like, "Hey man." Like, because it was like, oh, they worked all the time and blah, blah, blah. It's like, what would you have done? I look, at 16 years old, I was a mess. Like,
yeah.
Like an absolute mess. And so like, it's like, oh, holy cow. Like I'm really fortunate that I had awesome grandparents and stuff to have such a great childhood and everybody kind of lended in. And I come from a generation still where it took a neighborhood to raise a child, like it's that I posted a meme like yesterday, about today's generation. Parents are like, if you stop crying, I'll buy you something.
Yeah.
I come from a generation that is, if you don't stop crying, I'm going to give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. It's just a different upbringing.
Yeah. So yeah.
But yeah, my mom, she actually worked every position in the company until she owned it. So at one point, when she was a store manager or just shift leader or something like that, your father actually worked with her.
Yeah.
My uncle. It's been a family affair for a while.
Yeah.
And so there'd been many years that we worked together, and then then I remember one time when I was much younger, your dad had airbrushed a bunch of like it was some gifts from my mom. It was like a jacket and a sweatshirt, some things like that with Hit and Run Lady on it and all that stuff. And then when I was old enough to start forming my own relationships, him and I became buddies again. And him and I and Ethan were always talking about opening some kind of like custom shop, whatever. It never really came to fruition,
Yeah.
But
no, I think my first like conscious memory of you was at a Mexican restaurant. The one that we used to go to. I think it was it called Mariachi's back in the day? It was the one that's in Wood River, like kind of close to the Walmart.
So it was called. It might have been called Mariachi. I know for a fact that it was Tequila. It was Tequila's Mexican restaurant. Guess what? Now it's Los Tres Amigos.
Yeah, it's been rotated out a million times. But it's always a solid spot. Yeah.
I tell you what. I remember back when. The first Mexican restaurant that ever moved to the area in general moved to downtown Alton.
Yeah.
And it was in where the piano bar is now. Mm-hmm. I don't remember what the name of it was, but there was two of them or so that moved in there, and I remember it was like oh my gosh, like it's ethnic food.
Yeah.
Let's go, and that was the first place I ever had guacamole.
And now it's like a weekly.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Sometimes daily. Sadly enough. And then we have different the different Mexican joints that we go to. Of course, Mr. Pancho's here at Eastgate Plaza is like our go-to.
Yeah.
And it has kind of become the barometer for Mexican food for us, like all around the country.
Mm-hmm. Comparing.
It's like, oh, this is good, but it's no Pancho.
No. Yeah.
And, there's this new restaurant that just opened up in the old Mamma Mia's.
Yeah.
And so me and Jill call that New Mexican, and that we love it. Just
Yeah.
amazing customer service. The nice thing about it is that they're still new. So when you come out here and there's a line waiting, you can go get a table.
Yes.
So, and it's right by our house. So
that's dangerous. Yeah, I just had Mexican for dinner last night. There's definitely been we have to be self-conscious to not try to eat Mexican cuisine. Like if we're cooking it from home and then we're like, oh, what do we want to eat tonight? Oh, let's get El Mezcal. And then like our best friends will be like, do you want to get dinner tomorrow night? We're like, yeah, sure. What do you want? And they're like, Mr. Ponchos. And I was like, that's technically a different Mexican. Like,
was it yesterday? The day before yesterday, the owner of Riviera Maya, he's such an awesome dude.
Yes.
And it's just such like just a smiling, happy personality. And I think that's my biggest problem. Like all I've being an owner, you a business owner, you reach out to the other business owners,
Mm-hmm.
and so we always kind of get together and talk and stuff, and I make sure to really be calm. I try to really, really, really praise them for because it's not easy, man, to get a successful business opened and
keep it going.
right.
Yeah.
And you meet some of the greatest people, man.
Yes.
And then so I guess my conflict is it's a constant rotation of guilt.
Yeah.
Because
You're cheating on someone else.
because David and his wife Luisa
Yeah.
Fonsos, they're like two of the greatest people in the world and two of the hardest working people I've ever met.
Yeah.
I mean there wasn't a day that they weren't there every single day of the week, 7 days a week, grinding, and then now it's nice to see David's son there. He's the official chip and salsa guy. He's the
I love it. Yeah. That's what I look forward to.
Right. As a fluffy person,
Yeah.
as a fella of thick stature, I tend to gravitate towards restaurants that have like free stackies, like bread, or
Yes.
bread course or chip course.
Yes.
That's go-to. But we always feel guilty about, these guys are so great and, yada, yada, yada. But I guess anyone that just goes above and beyond.
Yeah.
So and then like I said, the owner of Riviera Maya comes in, and we're he's been a customer of mine since the beginning days, and we've always had a good time together. And then I realized, I haven't been to Riviera Maya in a while. You know what I mean? So then it's like, well, crap. Now tonight,
Gotta set your rotation up.
now tonight we have to go. So that night we made it. It was tough, but we made it up here.
Oh, Mexican food.
And then you realize that, like, man, each of these Mexican restaurants have something that they all do well.
Oh yeah.
Like better than the other.
Yes.
Kind of thing. And they may have a unique menu item that the other one doesn't have.
I go off of, everything's different, like, and they all have their different specialties because you can get a better Morales taco from certain places or not, or Alton fried taco. But salsa, and not to hate on any of the locals, I love, and I eat at every single local place, but I'll drive an hour to Tarcissio's and off of Gravois on, it's called Mariachis.
Okay, so that's going to be one. Yes. So that's going to be one I have to do. So, to be honest with you, I think that is the same mix. So I have an installer that lives out an hour from here in Missouri, and he goes to it's like a special kid. Him and his wife will go out, and he always sends Jill and I videos of like the sizzling fajitas when they come to his table, and I'm pretty sure that's mariachis.
Yes.
David salsa though,
is good.
It's the local. I haven't been to
Local
place.
best here.
It's definitely the local best.
Yes.
There's nothing worse than a complacent, restaurant that just puts out tomato sauce.
Yeah, tomato juicy, and
I want a real experience.
I need some garlic and
Don't get me wrong.
yeah.
I don't want you to get rid of the Americanized stuff because I like nachos.
Yeah. The first time we ever went to Taqueria Z up in Edwardsville, Zane thought all the salsas were like this kind of salsa, so he confidently was eating them with chips.
Oh boy.
And then he learned about the first chip in that is not the same salsa. So
Well, no, they're not all
lit him
created
up.
equally. every once in a while, you'll catch one at the table that's a little spicier
Yeah.
than another one. But
I ain't gonna complain.
David uses he fire roasts all of his stuff.
We're just gonna move this over to the Mexican restaurant. We'll set up
Get it set up in the
the event. Yeah, that's a goal, and that's our next episode. Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
Sure. But yeah. So I've known you since
wee little baby.
baby.
Yep.
You're not going to have conscious memory of those first couple of years.
No. But yes, I've watched you go through running someone else's business, doing that excellently to the point of then starting your own business and then getting to go into a bigger, better looking establishment. I mean, it's badass.
I think the thing for me is that like I realized that I'm just not employable. You know what I mean? So
I feel like that.
So becoming self-employed.
It was a must.
It was an absolute must of necessity. I see things kind of. Sometimes I feel so different than other people. I see things differently in some aspects. So it's like,
It's the control for
money is important. Money is important for like it ends to a means. Like it's important because we need a roof over our head, and it's important because like once I detached my want to achieve or to possess as much of it as possible, it started coming more naturally. Like I don't really I'm not in this to get rich. Like the reason I'm self-employed and the reason that I'm where I'm at is because I get to work with my wife every day.
Yes.
I get to work with my friends and that you know I'm not in competition with anyone else, and I was told that it wouldn't work. You know, my business plan wouldn't work because I wasn't concerned about the numbers, so to speak, as I was about a moral business that took care of the customers and took care of the employees first. And you know, you get all kinds of sales experts that are like, you know, you gotta start high and sell low and all these other things, and that's not the case, man.
No.
Like I find that like really spending the time to get to know the customer, what their wants and needs are. Yeah,
we'll keep this light on.
Getting to know the customers' wants and needs allows you to sell them what they need, not what I need to sell them.
Yes.
And so, like, there was a competitor that I shouldn't say that because there was someone in a similar business line that I worked for that I don't consider them competition at all because I'm just not in competition. And they you know, the name of their company rhymed with Bustum Slowns.
Yeah.
And they're a Texas-based corporation, and they do a lot of their bulk purchasing in Texas. And they had just a nasty program that was in place, and the program was in place to set up accountability and so that they can get more production out of their sales staff. And they called it a 4-month program. Would be okay if it was 4 items, but like item number 1 is sell 6 of something, you know, that kind of thing. And they would make these purchases, and like let's say for instance, we all know the brand Pioneer. It's been around forever. It's one that we recognize. It's household name. You'd have a Pioneer radio on sale for $310, and then you'd have this generic off-brand flip-out TV that was on sale for $299. That's a remanufactured unit that they just have to buy like a truckload of, and now they want us to sell the crap out of these units. Now, I do business in a small community. Okay, this is not like we're in LA, you know, and you may not see the same customer twice. We what I like to call my business is a legacy business. I want to deal with fathers and sons and grandfathers. I want to deal with the entire family, and I want you to be my customer for life. Like a lot of places, like the old Audio Express that went out of business, they really just seemed to want all the money in your pocket at once, and they didn't care if they ever saw you again. And so they would want us to. I can't in good conscience sell you a radio that I know nothing about, that I know that is remanufactured, when I've got a brand that I know that I can count on, that's going to be a great product for you forever, and I still can see you at the Golden Corral, shake your hand, because which is another reason why I got out of the repossession business.
Yeah, 'cause you run into people too much.
You really start to run into people.
Yeah. So now you're working your good karma back now.
Well, that was the whole thing with the business, man. I worked in enough of these stereo shops that I learned what I didn't want. Before I was a salesperson, or before I owned a business, I was a consumer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know one of the things that I say, and I've said it in a couple of videos that you've even produced for me, is that when you walk into an electronic shop, or even like a Best Buy or something like that, immediately your shields are up.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because you feel like you're going to be victimized.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be sold to, and I don't want to be sold to. I'm usually pretty good about what I know that I want, and I know what I want to pay, and I know where I'm at with things. Like I know what I'm comfortable with, and so I'll set the boundaries pretty quickly, and I have little tolerance for you to step outside of those boundaries.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. However, they do all the time. It's like, well, I know you said you wanted the
the upsell,
150 inch.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. I don't know. I'd really enjoy being a part of this community.
That's what I was about to ask. Yeah, I feel like you're definitely involved.
Well, I kind of feel like a cheater again. We were talking about that loyalty thing. So I'm Wood River kind of born and raised.
Yeah.
Went to Wood River High School, grew up riding my bike in Wood River. Love the downtown Wood River area.
Yeah.
And always had a dream for it. And when I was promoting comedy, and I was doing stand-up comedy shows, like I remember, I was using the Madison's tea room, and we would have like before the show would start at like 8, and so we would have a gathering, and people were drinking in the little pub there connected to the Madison's tea room. And I remember before and after the show, all these people gathering, all these cars down. And I thought, wow, how cool is that?
Yeah.
And even when I was younger than that, Jill and I, we got our first apartment on Acton, and we would walk over to the Midtown Theater and watch live theater at the Midtown Theater. And like during intermission, we'd come outside and the marquee would be twinkling, and it was like being in a different time. And there's cars down there, people all out front, and it was hustling and bustling.
Yeah.
And so like this renaissance that's going on in downtown Wood River, it's like I'm a part of this East Alton renaissance, which is great too.
We never even thought this was going to happen. Remember when the plans came out for this, and we're like, this is the biggest joke. This wouldn't succeed. This is the trashiest place in all of the land,
No, I'm gonna
It's so beautiful.
It is amazing, and it's been a haven, and it still could be for other small business people that
Absolutely
get a shot. Like I'm one of those people, unfortunately, that have this like demon that lives in my head that tries to destroy everything good that I do for myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're never going to succeed. Blah, blah, blah. Fortunately, I don't listen to anyone, including
good.
So I try. I don't know any better, I guess. And I move forward. I found a building in East Alton, and that's why we started in East Alton. Technically we started on a farm in Brighton, but the building in East Alton that we had for 7.5 years, we did as well as we could there until we outgrew the building. I never thought this East Alton thing was possible.
Yeah.
And my guys had actually been kind of badgering. TJ specifically was really kind of badgering me about trying to get in here like almost a year or more earlier, and I thought there's some just I didn't have enough confidence in what we'd already built, because there's no secret in the overhead. It didn't just double, okay, like it quadrupled, and I was like, can we sustain that? And fortunately, like and we did it during a pandemic, like which is really,
I got something to say real quick. That's a repeating thing now that I've like interviewed all these people. I'm really going back through and like enjoying these actual podcasts. there's so many, like almost like 80% of these people started business in the pandemic and they're succeeding. So even though it was like, and while going through it, the most terrifying thing ever to exist, like, I think it was good.
And economically, like, it seemed like the world wasn't doing great at that time.
No.
Beforehand. And I don't know why it was the perfect storm.
No.
Like it did. People were spending, before we started the pandemic in the old building.
Mm-hmm.
We moved mid-pandemic,
Which is nuts. Yeah.
And we never got out of soft opening. We never got to we've really still not had our grand opening.
That's cool. The Riverbend Yoga had one like 2 years into it, so you're good.
Yeah, the showroom is still not complete, and we just keep getting our behinds handed to us every day. It's a blessing.
Yeah.
You know, I'm so grateful. But I never thought it was possible. There is a man by the name of Todd. You know, Todd and Julia are amazing. And you know, I remember when Julia's was like kind of the last of the Mohicans in this whole plaza.
That's what kept this whole thing going.
You know?
That's the only reason I'd come here, because even the theater had closed down at a certain point. So
Well, the theater just recently. Well, it closed down during the pandemic.
yeah, that's what it was.
But they had reopened for a short period of time. They just didn't put any upkeep into it. You know, whenever it was Warenberg, and it switched to AMC, we were hopeful that AMC as a corporation was going to spend some money on the structure. They didn't. They just doubled their
I was
prices.
supposed to run it into the ground. Yeah.
They didn't even clean the bathrooms.
No.
Like they doubled the popcorn prices, and then they wrote it out. And
Maybe one day. It's the infrastructure's there. We just got to get someone to. You want to own a movie business?
Well, the sad fact of the matter is that we don't, with as much money as it needs to
Oh yeah.
don't think that it's going to house a movie house again, unless some miracle happens.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I didn't think was possible was MCG theaters in Alton. Like, I didn't
Again.
know that this neighborhood platform existed,
Amazing.
and it's so neat. It's different, and in a lot of ways, to control staffing, you do a lot of things yourself, which is great. Like, I like the interactive popcorn and making, you know, and rather than charge more for a slush than a soft drink, it's like, just, you know, it is what
To make it all, yeah, because we're gonna steal it anyway. So, no, but I love it because it was like an experience that I would think that to get an hour away into St. Louis, but it's like in Alton, and we were all like, it's not gonna work out, and here we are.
It's kind of between like a 5-star lounge, but yet doing it more economically. It's not. There's no crazy like IMAX stream.
Yeah.
And the sound systems are adequate, but they're fantastic.
I'm just easily amazed by the recliners, you know.
It makes the movie experience so much different.
Yeah.
So much better. Like they lack a little bit in the snack shop department, but
Again,
but they keep it. It's about keeping it simple and keeping it easy to replicate and to not have to have a bunch of staff, and it's for smaller communities. And I like how each room is smaller and more manageable. You know.
Yeah, I love it.
I do too. I go to Edwardsville still only for things that I have to see in Dolby. Like if it's like Guardians of the Galaxy, I'm gonna go check it out in Dolby first.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. But any other movie that I want to see, like that's my go-to place. And it makes me sad. It makes me sad sometimes when you're the only one in one of those movie theaters.
Yeah.
Like, gosh, man, I really wish more. And I don't know if it's just that. I know that the technology and the streaming, era has really hurt us a lot. Just like online business and stuff has hurt us, you know.
Yeah, you still see me driving an hour to watch a drive-in movie. That's a movie that's already released. You know what I mean?
100%. Well, like for me, there's experiences. So like the Back to the Future franchise is like one of my all-time favorite franchises.
Same here.
And when the opportunity came to see it on a big screen, I had to do it.
Yeah.
You know, and then like when they do like horror movie previews or things like that during Halloween, like you have to go see Friday the 13th or movies like that in the drive-in experience.
Yeah.
It's a different experience.
Yeah. My top 3 was definitely they did Friday the 13th on Friday the 13th, but we did all the movies except for and we got to spend the night at the drive-in too. So that was like coolest shit ever. then my favorite movie, Back to the Future, and then Beetlejuice. But that was like the last year before Mindy said, and I was like, please.
Well, like the so the trials of the drive-in movie theater.
Oh yeah.
What a roller coaster. So I'm very attached to that place.
Same here. I was so upset if it was going to be a car parking lot. Like
I'm a super buff for Route 60.
Oh yes. We got the whole sleeve going.
Roadside America.
Yeah.
The whole Route 66 shit going on. But I've been a part of a lot of preservation projects and associations and traveled a bunch of the route myself and over again, different alignments over and over again. And in a nutshell, just really enjoy Roadside America.
Yes.
And that era of roadside quirky, when people call it a tourist trap, to me, that's not a bad thing.
No.
And I want it to be more ridiculous. Like,
I got something good for you.
Mermaids and the thing. And
what do you think of Uranus? That was my first time ever experiencing it.
So I
because it's a new age kind of.
So that's the thing. It's actually a very personal comment. That's actually a very personal comment in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to talk about my Uranus on camera. I love visionaries.
Yes.
And everybody's definition. So first and foremost, the Uranus, Missouri Uranus Fudge Factory, which there's two now. There's one in Indiana.
Yeah, I saw that.
And but the Missouri one is the embodiment of roadside attraction and the American road trip.
100%.
And yes, the whole thing is around dick and fart jokes.
Yeah, but it's funny.
But it's hilarious.
Yeah.
The owner, his name is Louis Keene.
Yes.
And Louis is amazing. And I don't know if you know this or not. Your viewers probably don't know. Louis has been going through a very serious battle with cancer.
Yeah.
Louis is one of my best friends in the world, and we like have bonded, especially through this cancer treatment thing. And one, his unwillingness to succumb to something that they told him would kill him has inspired me to want to even do this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Because I suffer severely from depression and anxiety, and it's easier for me just to shelter myself away than it is to I love doing things like this, and so this is part of my rising from the ashes kind of thing, is getting back to doing what I love to do and talk about things that I'm passionate about, and Louis has inspired me to stop making excuses for myself.
Absolutely.
He had just for our viewers, he was diagnosed with some pretty serious throat cancer, and they removed the entire back of his tongue, and told him initially that because of the amount of the tongue that we're removing, you're going to be on a feeding tube. And he said, I'm never going to be on a feeding tube. It's not going to happen. And so he began training himself on how to swallow with the front of his tongue. They told him, hey, the surgery is going to be almost unbearable. It might kill you. Let's get it done. Let's get after it. That's not an option. I've got too many things to do, And this man has 5,000 irons in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And
growing.
And growing.
Yeah.
But I never thought, I've talked to him on several occasions in person, and he, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna open this restaurant. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. And I'm just like, whoa, slow down, man. But he's getting it. I don't know how he can be there, but he's in 10 places at once. He has never stopped. He had a couple of bad days where he couldn't move, but almost every day he has been at the Fudge Factory doing something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? As much as he could possibly do. We talk in the evenings and at nighttime when he's up, sometimes suffering, and he's chronic. He's videography, like the whole process. Mm-hmm. Even nights that he was suffering, and I every day send him an encouraging message, and it's such an amazing place. Route 66 is an ebb and flow, and it unfortunately, we lose icons, and but gratefully enough, some are growing. We're in part. There's some kind of magic in the air where like more artistic people are opening these businesses and they get it. So what a magical place. So first of all, Uranus, Missouri, they have the Fudge Factory, which is like this cool candy store going. It's got all kinds of funny jokes and T-shirts, and when you walk in, they say, "Welcome to Uranus. Can we pack your fudge?" And
poker in the front, liquor in the back.
When you leave, they say, "Thanks for picking Uranus."
Yes.
That kind of thing. They sell all kinds of candies and fudge by the pound, and bottles of soda pop, and magnets, and they really get the roadside trip. But on property, they have a traditional sideshow.
Yes, and Sheet Cat, that's the coolest person I've ever met. Like,
so cool. She'll swallow swords for you and everything else. And they've got the traditional, they've got the traditional Fiji mermaids.
Yes,
and they've got the the regular sideshow gaffs. Some real, some fake.
They got a little bit of Alton. Robert Wadlow's. I don't think it was his real shoe, but they got a picture of him.
They had a statue of him there too for a while. But then they also have, like, there's a lot of little areas of fun photo opportunities, and they have an ice cream stand there now. Now in Indiana, so what Indiana is it started off as a pretty regular candy factory, and see, this is all a part of Lou's master plan.
Yeah,
because in order for him to be able, like now he has a manufacturing plant to make all of his chocolates.
So it's all in-house, and
then he purchased the products that chocolate company was making, as well as introducing it into what they're doing. But he also started a new ice cream shop out there that is supposed to have like the highest butter fat ever known to man. It's supposed to be like
road trip.
Right. It's supposed to be the creamiest, the best ice cream, like that kind of thing.
Just buttercream, like.
Whenever me and Jill made it up to see the Indiana one, I called him, and I was like, "Hey, Lou, guess where I'm at?" And I was video calling him, and I was standing in front of his sign out front, which was the original sign for the. It's funny because it was like the sign for the chocolate shop, and it looks like a box of chocolates, but now they kind of superseded their Uranus over the top of it.
Yeah, that's funny.
They started adding their gags and tricks and stuff. But he takes us out to this like outbuilding, and he says, in his raspy voice, he says, "Well, this is what we're doing out here. This is going to be the greatest thing ever." He's like, "This is going to be our ice cream shop. We're going to have the counter's going to be over here. This is we're going to have some stools and some stuff out here in the covered area. In here, we're going to have these decorations. There's going to be airplanes hanging from the ceiling and all this sort of things." And he's like, "But for no apparent reason," he's like, "the bathrooms are going to be like Egyptian tombs and like it's just like he's so it's really
I love it.
fun. And he did everything. It's all for business and like it's really neat. So the guy's amazing. Uranus Fudge Factory is an absolute must stop. Even if you're on the highway, the good thing he spent a lot of advertising bucks on some really hilarious road signs and stuff like that. So he's in a position where he gets the traditional Route 66 travelers, and he very much embraces that. But he also gets highway traffic, and that's neat too.
Yeah, and coming from someone, so I just went to Branson this past weekend, and I've drove past this place a million times.
Yeah.
I thought it was just kind of like that. I knew it was something funky because it looked cool on the outside. I didn't know everything behind what's going on, and I thought it was nothing more than like the big world's largest gift shop, whatever, that's down the road a little bit. I was like, okay, just another.
Which, by the way, is badass.
It's cool too.
Have you been there?
Yeah, it's massive. Cleanest bathrooms.
Have you been to the candy shop part?
Yeah. But so I always think it's like not that big of a deal, but we had to pull over because it was just like torrential rain. So I was like, I guess this will kill some time. And then now, once we got home, I watched every single one of their YouTube videos. They gave us a newspaper at checkout, read the whole thing. I'm like, I am involved. Like, I didn't know, why did I not give this a chance for all the other million times that I drive past? We're going to Cuba this coming weekend. I was like, we can just take a little further trip down. Yeah. Go visit again.
So like, yeah, Cuba is one of my
Yeah.
6 hometowns too. Missouri is just a beautiful stretch, and there's so much fun things to do. If especially if you include the 13.1 miles of Kansas, you could just do. I mean, I've done. Well, I'm also an acting board member on the Missouri Association. But Forward 66.
Yeah.
But I've done so much of it, like so many times. The important thing that you mentioned about exploring Route 66 is that, like, no 2 times that you go out on the same route will you have the same experience.
Absolutely.
And you had passed that place and overlooked it 1,000 times.
Yes.
Now, imagine how many diners, eateries, and
Endless.
endless. I'm gonna give you a little tip. It's not in the downtown area anymore. But the Cuba Bakery and Deli,
Okay.
Amish owned, and it's over by the Huddle House and stuff now.
Okay.
But it's there in Cuba. It's called the Cuba Bakery and Deli. It's all owned by Amish. Everything is homemade. They have the best bakery items. They do candy in bulk, and then but they do deli sandwiches and salads for like lunch. Like,
Oh, yeah.
amazing.
I think we'll stop there on the way to the campsite and like load up on some bread or something for the weekend.
Oh,
yeah.
seriously, homemade loaves of bread.
Yeah. Oh, Amish anything. I'm sold.
It's good. They have this real sweet like creamy potato salad. It's like
Yeah.
it's more blended than it's amazing. But Cuba's I've stayed in that Wagon Wheel motel like
Yeah.
300 times. Like it's just a fantastic thing. But no experience is the same. And I can't tell you how many times I've been like sleeping on this little hole in the wall, and then find out that one, the owners are the greatest people on the planet, and two, well, this is the best burger I've ever had, or this is that. The little diner in Cuba called Shelley's on 66.
Yeah.
Amazing. Shelley is such a hardworking woman, and like everything is made from scratch. Everything is delicious. The cool thing is that there's not a chair or a plate in that store that matches.
Yeah.
It's like a mixed match.
I love it.
It's fantastic.
I'm sitting here daydreaming while you're telling me about this. I was like, we just need to take a week, me, you, and Jill, whatever vehicle, and then I'll help film, and we'll go record interviews. You need to do the same thing I'm doing, but just strictly Route 66.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I there's so many different facets to my life. I like the business side of me, but like the travel. Like, I would give up all of this tomorrow just to be able to travel.
Well, that's like my kind of next question, even though I normally keep it towards the end. We'll keep it specific to Route 66. Could you ever see yourself wanting to own an attraction or a stop on Route 66? Or do you not want to be anchored down so then you can enjoy more of it?
No, like, to be honest with you, like my old man fantasy, like my retirement fantasy is to own like an old service station that's a curio shop.
Yes.
That barely pays the bills, but my payment is these like invaluable conversations with people that are longtime explorers or are exploring for the first time, or the international. Like I've seen so many people from so many different countries.
Yeah.
It's sad there for a while. Well, during COVID, we seen an influx of domestic travel.
Yes.
Because no one was allowed in the country.
Yeah.
But as a whole, 80% of the economic intake on Route 66 was from non-domestic.
Yeah, that's what Mindy used to say about the drive-in. They would get a lot of people from Europe and then China.
I applaud Mindy for taking the risk to begin with.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But I always felt like it was just too vanilla pudding for Route 66. Like, there was all this white fencing. And have you ever seen anything about Buck Adams in Tulsa, Oklahoma?
I need to go on a drive-in experience because honestly, that's my only experience with any drive-in ever. So I had nothing to compare to.
So as far as traditional drive-ins, there is. So the drive-in in Cuba is rarely ever open.
Yeah.
It's a barely. I was able to host a car show there, but the lady there, she's just not into upkeeping it. There's problems with projections.
Yeah.
It needs to be purchased and saved while it's still existing.
Yep.
However, in Carthage, Missouri, there's the Route 66 drive-in, and you want to talk about amazing. The guy that owns the place, his name is Nathan, and they take the care and of this place so seriously. And so when you pull up in front, the marquee is like a traditional 50s style marquee with neon lighting.
Yeah.
And then it's got, the multiple colors like red, yellow, and blue. It's colorful. And then it's got the, it says Route 66. Then you've got the kind of the infield yard in the front. You've got the two drive-ins on either side, so you get the exit and the entrance. And then when you go into the ticket booth, it is like driving back to the 1950s. Like the ticket booth is all lit up with pink neon. It's got glass blocks that are lit up from the inside. It's like just really, really cool. And then when you come inside, it's like this perfectly graded gravel. It's so clean. Each aisle has a lighted numbered pole.
Nice.
There are some speakers still existing.
That's what I was about to say.
There are a few. There are a few speakers still existing. And the snack bar is just like that 1950s teal green, and it's like a minty teal green. Like everything is like just perfect.
I need to go.
There's a new one that was just resurrected. It was the site of an old one in Supala, Oklahoma on 66 called the Supala Drive-In, and this thing's dope. Like they built a new sign that is like just mind-blowingly cool.
Yeah.
Neon lit up, all kinds of really cool things. But here's what's really neat. So it's kind of a grass field, kind of more traditional. But the screen itself is more of a traditional screen. It's like 3 towered poles with the white. Now the snack bar is a restored 1940s travel trailer.
Oh.
So it's like polished aluminum, with like red accents, and you want that's that and that. Now, I'm gonna just blow your face off with this story. There's another trailer that's sitting catty corner off to the side that has an area with picnic tables and a little area. It's a bar, and so you can get mixed drinks and you can hang out there and still see the movie. Now, on the very back of the property are 3 fully restored travel trailers, like the Spartan, polished aluminum and painted up, with yards. Each of them have a barbecue grill.
You can rent them?
Yeah! Airbnb, and you can...
Where's this at?
In Supala, Oklahoma.
I guess I'm going to Oklahoma.
You rent them.
Oh, Oklahoma, where the...
You stay in the trailer, the travel trailer.
Yeah.
During the movie, you have the old school clamshell Adirondack chairs, and you hang out in your own yard, and you could barbecue, and you could, seriously, it's the coolest team ever. So they have like these restored travel trailers out there.
Yeah.
It's integrated into the whole thing.
That's what pisses me off, because like, too bad I'm too young, too broke, because like, I was joked with Mindy too, because she knew too that there was like a lot of potential that we could have had right here, and I just hate how far of a drive Litchfield is. If we had one in Edwardsville, I would want to do something. I don't know mini golf.
I don't think that Edwardsville could work because of
no.
Like maybe out in the country, like between that and Marine or something, like somewhere out there.
Yeah, not in like downtown or anywhere near where like the.
But unfortunately, the location of the old Bel Air out there in oh, by the way, so the Bel Air sign disappeared. a couple of years ago.
Was it found?
Well, it wasn't like stolen.
Yeah.
It was on the property that was owned by the construction company and all the people out there, and they sold it to a company that was gonna. Springfield, Illinois, just their grand opening and relighting of a whole neon park.
Yeah. In Springfield, Illinois.
In Springfield, Illinois. I think it's Springfield, Illinois.
Either works. And Missouri's not far either.
Either or. I'm pretty sure it's Illinois though. The Bel Air sign, and it's fully restored glory. Is fully lit.
Is it open?
It's this weekend. You can go there, but they're having a lighting ceremony this 4th of July weekend.
Too bad we'll be down in Cuba. But no, that sounds like a trip because Springfield, Illinois is not that far away, and
there's a ton of signs that have been
that makes me think about like the Vegas, because I always see my photographer friends will purposely fly out to the neon
like the
graveyard. Yeah, so it's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah, that's the crazy things. The crazy things is like, so like the neon era, like in hot rod cars, is kind of what like got me kind of even rudimentarily interested in Route 66, and then like I realized, so it's crazy because my buddy Roman Rich, who's the president of our association, he's like probably the world's leading historian on the case. Like his life is 100% wrapped around Route 66.
Yeah,
he owned a paving company, and so for him, it was more about the structure of the road and the exploring of, and the areas that were just like unattainable to most people. He liked the exploration part, and then like me, you start to meet the people. You find out that it's about all these experiences and like, so like when it comes to Route 66 and traveling and stuff, like you're gonna see all these really cool neon signs. You're gonna see like especially Tucumcari is like this town that has been locked down in the 50s, where you've got like a Mexican restaurant that's a giant sombrero that you walk into, and you've got the Boom Swallow, and you've got all these iconic like things you want to take a lot of photographs, right?
Yeah.
And so and when we recommend that you take a lot of photographs.
Yeah.
But don't be a drive-by shooter.
Yeah, actually go and enjoy and indulge.
Go inside. Like, meet the owners. Like, even if it's a motel, go in, find out if they have a magnet for sale, or if they have a pin, or whatever the case may be. Like, buy a soda pop. Say hello. Don't be a drive-by shooter.
Yeah, for two reasons. Like, for one, respect them, and two, they might not be there the next time you come back, because a lot of these people that are running these attractions have been there for a very long time. They got stories.
So Ramona Lehman is the owner of the Munger Moss Motel in Lebanon, Missouri. Now the Munger Moss Motel, she just celebrated her 70-something birthday. It might have been her 80th something birthday. The Munger Moss has been in existence for 70-something years. Her and her husband passed away a couple of years ago, and they, as a couple, currently have over 53 or 54 years they have ran that motel.
It's insane. That's a lifetime.
And she is just now getting to the point where she's falling a lot, and she's had to go into some assisted living, and they're still bringing her over to spend the days. She's sitting in the light. You can still go there and see her and stuff. But the point to that is that one day she's not going to be here anymore.
No.
And I'm going to tell you something scary that happened. That motel has been like so integral in my relationship with Route 66. It's like I've stayed there 500 times. We always stay in the Wagon Wheel, and then the Munger Moss, and then we usually stay in Joplin, and then when we head out farther.
What would you tell yourself back then that would help you get to where you are with more grace, I guess?
I think it would have been like, don't focus on the monetary things, like make your dreams happen. Like, don't care so much what people think. the biggest problem growing up is that we focus so much on what other people think of us. And we're like, we all go through that phase in life where the high school phase where like you feel like you got to have Nikes and you got to have this and you got to have that, or you're not important, or that person over there said they didn't like you, and it wrecks your world.
Yeah.
Like none of that shit matters. All those people that are popular in school, like in my experience, they're shit shows now.
Yeah.
They either have 50 kids, or they're not successful, or they have trouble with alcohol, and all these things of like you find out that the people that have things handed to them don't have shit.
Yeah.
And people like us that made our own way, like really, so like for me, it's okay. So like I now have succeeded and failed so many times.
Yeah.
That like people are like, well, what would you do if modified it in tomorrow? I'm like, well, start the next adventure.
Yeah, we've been there before. I've already, that's what I love. My favorite quote from Charles Schwab, which I probably say in every episode, but the true failure isn't real failure. It's like quitting, giving up. So like each time you hit rock bottom, you can build back up again. You've done it a million times. Let's fucking do it again.
I'm not afraid. And one of the things, so we I've been fortunate enough to be around all kinds of really awesome people. And really, that really is something.
That's important.
Surround yourself by as many positive people as you can.
Yeah.
Like, because they will influence you.
Hold you accountable.
100%.
Yeah.
They will also, like, people that drive in the industry and things like that, like, they surround yourself by good people. But and don't let anyone tell you that your dreams are stupid, or I was told by several people that I care about, don't do the comedy thing. It's not gonna work out for you. And I had over 20 sold out shows. My first show that I was told would never work, I
fabulous.
sold 350. I sold out the downtown Alton.
Was it Wow or no?
No, the with the parking garage.
Oh, Bluff City.
Bluff City.
Yeah.
I sold out their ballroom upstairs. In fact, so much it was. I realized that you cannot entertain 350 people. So
I've done weddings up there. Yeah.
I cut it back to 200.
And they're still sitting on top of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
It's hard for waitresses to keep up. And in comedy, you want to keep the beer flowing.
Absolutely, though. That matters.
So it does. It definitely matters. So like, and I never didn't have a sold out show, including in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
So even Michael Gibbons, there was some teachings that like massive and perfect action.
Yes.
I use pieces of that when I teach younger kids how to go about like achieving their goals in business. And I tell everybody that so we've been taught through all of life that like things are done in a list of 1 through 10. 1 being the beginning, first thing you got to do, and 5 being the opening the doors, right? Or, whatever. And and so like I tell everybody that that's nonsense, that's not linear.
Yeah, no.
Like so like for instance, whenever I started looking for my first building, I didn't have a pot to piss in. Right? But I started looking for the place. And when I found the place, I found a way. And when I found that kind of thing. So I tell everybody, like, you just need action. You just need to move forward. Immerse yourself in all of the information about your industry that you're wanting to get into. Find out the ins and the outs, the secrets of the industry. Contact people, put out feelers. I don't know if you remember or not, and I still do from time to time. I'll throw out there like, hey, what would you think if somebody opened a drive-in movie theater in the area, and then you get a free feel for just at a it's like a select, what do you call that, like
a testing group almost.
It's like your own test group, you just get some real-time feedback, and so like that's kind of what you do, like Modified. We're going to be celebrating our 9th year in business.
It's insane how fast it goes. Yeah.
And it's pretty self-sufficient now on positive feedback. You know what I mean? And all that I can tell anybody is that put everything you got into it as far as your soul and make moral decisions. Don't make financial decisions.
Yeah, no.
You make moral decisions. No, that's the thing. It's like for instance, there's this brand that everybody knows in audio called JL Audio.
Yeah.
Now, JL Audio's like been around forever. It's like the one that everybody wants that I can't carry because of territory reasons. Plus, I always kind of felt like, I wasn't good enough for JL Audio. And so, which kudos to you, by the way. This is a pat on your back.
Yeah.
Too. I have used our video in more than one situation to be accepted to carry brand lines and to be accepted in the industry. And one is because you directed such a good depiction of the property. It's a great tool to say, hey, listen, I can send you some still shots if you want, but let me show you how the business works. And then I send them the video, and they're like, so I used your video to break through. So JL has what I call the 3 gates of hell. Okay?
Which is necessary, I think, sometimes.
So in order to even so first and foremost, Custom Sounds has owned the territory.
Yeah.
Okay. I had to get up enough gumption to take on the juggernaut, right?
Yeah.
And so I know that my brand is so much more presentable and cleaner, and it would be so much more of a better representation of the brand than the Alton Custom Sounds. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I know without a doubt that our passion being here, the quality of work we do, the facility is going to be much better represented by the brand than these kids that don't care up there.
Yes.
And whatever. And so I thought, and I was like, any exceptions ever made. And because this company that owns 30 stores in Texas and, however many 10 stores in the St. Louis area, they're monopolizing something they shouldn't be able to monopolize. And so it's like, you know what? I said the same thing. Talked to a couple people and like, oh, you're never going to get. So I just asked a random person one day, who's the boss for JL in the area or whatever. And one of my reps or another from me gave me the number. Let's call this random number. And he was the guy that's like regionally over like the Midwest.
Yeah.
But there's a guy that's specifically over our area. And then the company won't accept you until they send out a corporate guy to come out and say, okay, this will fit our brand. Well, getting past the first guy is impossible.
Yeah.
Getting past the second guy is a little easier than getting past the first guy, but getting the opportunity to meet the third guy is virtually impossible.
Like the Pope.
It is. So I have beat 2 rings of hell, which are overcoming the territory and all of that. Your video, I submitted your video in order to get the guy number 1 to send me guy number 2 who came out and visited me personally.
Good.
I showed him the business plan, showed him what we got going on, showed him our amazing install shop and everything. And then he was so stoked that it got me the opportunity in August. It's a long time.
Yeah.
But in August, the bigwigs from the company are coming to meet me in person.
Amazing.
So that's just one more story that like I was told that was untangible.
And you
I'm
did it.
I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm gonna make a phone call. I'm gonna try to see what I can do. And I was told no 50 times before I finally got a yes.
Yes.
And then I pleaded. I said, hey, let me send you. I sent him that video, and that really helped. And I thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
Because like that. Well, yeah, but you got me a much better deal than. I mean, that thing.
You're a sibling. I think you've done a lot more for me.
So like I was when Todd had they were doing a small business roundtable thing over here at the office center, and I was participating, and I kind of feel bad because I think I stepped on this lady's toes from the Riverbender, not the Riverbender, but the Riverbend Gruff Association.
Yeah. Which I'm all in with them too, so I'm curious.
Well, it was a lady, it was a sales lady.
Yeah.
And she was over there talking about, basic old school sales techniques. And she was there for the right reason.
Yeah.
But I was like, so guys, they were younger kids. I was like, I basically want you to like forget everything that she just told you.
Yeah.
And know that like none of those standard practices have to be followed. One, we live in an amazing time
Of social media.
like for real.
Yeah.
And like not just the able to the ability to be able to advertise your ideas, but to be able to launch new ideas with YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and things like that. Like the average person that would have not had the reach in any kind of like business community now has access to the world
For free. That's the biggest thing, is like all these people put these gatekeeping almost to be able to get on the newspaper, all this old time marketing, and you have no way of even seeing like results or measuring results through all this old time marketing or old practices.
Well,
and it's like,
like there is there even every industry has their gates,
oh yeah,
you know. And we Jill and I want to open a traditional candy shop, like selling popcorn and snacks and ice creams and bottled sodas, and we want an old soda fountain and things like that. And we do some research in the gourmet popcorn business, like the kind that like the chef shop sells, like good stuff. There's so many like people that gatekeep, like you're only allowed to go to one training company, and all their literature is under lock and key, and you know, things like that. I became friends with Ryan from the Fanning Outpost. That I was the second world's largest rocking chair
yes,
outside of Cuba.
Yeah.
And he let me out into some of the secrets, and we were talking and stuff, and it's like he's like, man, you don't know how much they protect these things, and those are those unneeded gates. But I would tell at these roundtable events, I would tell these young kids like anything is possible.
Absolutely.
Like it's possible.
That's the craziest thing Michael put in my head as a young child. Now I'm like, wow.
So it's the massive imperfect action.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you fail at a couple of those steps, as long as you're making movements in the direction of your goal.
And paying attention and learning from even whatever outcome is from this action. Yeah.
Right. And so there's a lot of things too. Like your dad taught me in art, like it's like as far as like logo designing and things like that, that it's not bad to emulate other designs and not bad to take certain motivations from things that are already done. Obviously, you don't copy other people's artwork and things, but
inspiration.
It works the same with other business models and plans. You know, I had researched this company called Tent World that was like they're like a franchisable company, and they were doing a platform that was exactly like my business model, and that was a large scale window tinting business with car audio involved, and Tent World is just exactly that. Yeah. And they sometimes they go out and they buy businesses like mine and convert them into their business model. Like honestly, like if somebody didn't want to keep, I've worked very hard to make this a brandable brand.
Yeah.
But if somebody was to like come in, like this would be a perfect like Tent World kind of
yeah.
Where somebody can come in, change the colors, city with the clientele, and then do what we do. You know?
Yes, and then you take your nice little check and go to Route 66.
But I looked at what they were doing. You know what I mean? And that also brings us back to the retirement plan, because I want nothing more in this world than to be able to have when I'm done with this, my relaxing days, when I've got my nest egg that I can survive, that the business supports itself, that I get to meet all these people traveling the route and have these magical conversations and things like that, and inspire more people to travel and get out there and learn your history and things like that. But telling those people about massive imperfect action in my own way is really, really the key to business.
Yeah.
For me. And I'm adamant about the fact that when people come talk to me, it's like, I don't really know the industry as far as how other people know the industry. I don't know the industry as well as other people, but I know how to treat people.
Yes.
And and I know how I want to be treated.
Yes. And
so when people come in and we have conversations with them and about their children or their grandchildren or their puppies, whatever, that's not Shinola. Like, we really care about what's going on.
Yes.
We love those conversations.
Yes.
And so in a way, that's like me getting my little retirement plan early.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of really awesome conversations. And you know what? It may take. And yesterday I felt bad because there was a customer that came in. He was a customer that was wanting to make a purchase. There's only so many of us. Jill's answering nonstop phone calls and ringing people out, and I've got this customer in front of me. Now we're in that process of developing like what his needs are, and I stopped for a moment to address him, and the other customer got impatient and left. And I hate that I failed that guy that left, but I owe it to the guy that was in front of me for that respect.
Yeah.
And so you can't.
And that guy has to also recognize too that you are only one person and this is your small business. And then sometimes it's good the trash takes itself out, you know? So it could have been a bad experience, you know? Or maybe one day he comes back, hopefully.
That's another thing. And I hope he does. And I can show him that, hey, man, we're going to give you the best customer service we can possibly give you. And I know, like, I know people. That's the other thing, too, about the other message that you probably want to get out, that I would like to get out, is that, like things are going to happen. Okay, we've had accidents. We've had windshields get broken here, or when a job come back kind of crummy and things like that. We're human beings.
Yes.
In any business, it's going to happen. You know, and especially as high volume as we become, you deal with so many people. There's going to be something that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And I did have an audio job that went out recently that wasn't of the quality that I would have. I don't micromanage a lot, so it slipped out the door. When the customer called me back, I was just as angry as concerned about the product that I had to bring it back immediately. So I think the message to what I'm trying to say is that it's not that you failed out of a mistake. It's how you handle that mistake.
Yeah. Good thing that I've been practicing, and it's again something you have to constantly practice because I don't think anything that'll ever come naturally or easy. But self-talk, because I think I can be I think I'm the worst enemy. I have one person out there in the community that loves to talk shit on me, but he could never talk as bad as I talk to myself.
100%.
1,000,000%.
However, on the flip side of that coin, when you so my buddy Rad that passed away, he helped me identify. It was a changing moment for me. He helped me identify that asshole and try to evict them.
Yes.
And I succeeded in a while.
Yeah.
I was on a rainbow for a good period of time.
But anything can slip back in.
A bunch of people passed, including him. Like I felt like the rug got pulled out from underneath me. Being able to self-talk myself through that and say, you know what, you are a liar. You know, you're a liar. You're a cheater. You take all the joy out of my life, and I'm not going to listen to you anymore.
Absolutely.
And I win those battles more often now than I don't. And unfortunately, the devil is what I liken that to. Like, not to even get spiritual on any level, but when he likes to keep you in that funk because he can control you, and that's why people that get down like me, you isolate yourself, because it's him isolating you. Because if he can keep you away from those positive influences, it's like holy water to like, you know, certain like vampires or whatever, you know.
I've also learned here recently that there's some people, I'm not going to say everyone because each mental health is a different journey, but that you get dopamine from being in those shit fucking holes.
Oh,
so it's addicting.
Wow, that is so along the lines of the teachings of my buddy that passed away. So one of the ways that I used to deal with my depression was in the manifestation of anger, and I broke things that belonged to me, and I would throw temper tantrums, and I would fight.
And feel good in the moment,
But what happens is those dopamines, those feel goods, which are the same chemical that makes you feel good when you eat like a good piece of chocolate, or you see a really cool hot rod, or anything that excites you. You know, that good feeling, like it's the same adrenaline rush. And so what happens is that when you're an angerholic, you and your body start looking for more and more reasons to snap quicker about things that are less important and that would have normally maybe not even have made you angry, because your body gets addicted to that feeling. And so rage is one way. The problem that comes along with that dopamine, the problem that comes along with that intensive level that you get, which is just like any other drug, like any other narcotic, like it takes more and more and more of it to get you to that point of satisfaction, that the come down is harder and harder and harder. So I know that after a rage that I would go through, I would feel horrible afterwards, exhausted, sometimes even sleep all damn day.
Yes.
You know, and then maybe have a rebirth after that. But yeah, it's that dopamine. It's an addicting thing. Once you can identify that, and you could take steps away. I was a very jump to conclusions type of person. I always cared about what people thought of me. I would get angry real quick, or I would get lost in thought about, well, what does he think about this? Is he hate me? I would jump to conclusions, and it ruined my life.
Absolutely.
So one of the things that marijuana did for me, and these teachings, was allow me to take a step back outside of myself and look at, hey, wait a minute, man.
I'm always thinking this.
Life is all about the battles we choose.
Yes.
And none of them were worth it. Like,
No.
I think we should do more podcasts in the future.
Yeah.
Maybe we should hold it to a topic.
Yeah.
Like a specific topic.
I got ADHD.
Like we can have a whole one about our beliefs in Area 51.
Oh, we can go deep. That's what the joke is. So we're 2.5 hours in now.
Joe Rogan the shit out of this.
I honestly, like, so the podcast is like, I don't know like the longevity of it, because I know like it's all about action right now for me, just doing it. I could give a shit less about reaction or anything like that. But also a side part of it, it's like if I have a real good time with certain people, I'm just gonna keep on doing it with them.
Well, this is kind of like the this is like kind of a dream come true.
This?
Like for me.
Yeah, I think, well, already just from this conversation, I like what I said before. If you don't take the passion to do it or don't have the equipment to do it, I'm 100% down next year or whenever off season is. Me, you, and Jill go on a trip, and we have to document, because I'm passionate about Route 66 as well.
Yes, and I want to see it through your lens.
Yeah.
And like I really want to do something. Well, I do want to do something.
Yeah.
You know, along those lines. I want to do something just fun. And even if it's just we could do a couple of sections at a time.
Yeah, it's all about backlog. Like, that's the crazy thing about this is, like, we're recording this now. It's June whatever 20th something. This won't see the light of day until almost New Year's. So absolutely, that's how many people I have before you on a weekly upload. Yours won't see the light of day until I think New Year's. Isn't that crazy? So we can easily build up anything. It's a little effort. I mean, I've worked really hard at this so far, but we could take one weekend and we can make enough for like a half a year. It's fun to get to talk about the lives that we live, even though business is a huge part of it, not having to be like branded in conversation, just to be real about like honest situations and, you know, life, you know? This little time capsule. We'll have more, obviously, episodes in the future, but we could talk for hours.
Specifics, like I would like to have like a travel talk.
Yeah.
I like to talk about travel stories.
Yeah.
You know, like life lessons and business secrets and, you know, stuff like that. This was just
this was a mind dump. This was just
right.
Well, this is what it was meant to be, a conversation. So.
And I think it would have been wonderful with or without the cameras.